Hi and happy Saturday. I'm here to read an excerpt from Love Story of an Assassin, The Tale of Killstreak and the Phantom. Briar Murray, aka Killstreak, walked into Ruby Rain's office ready for her next assignment. Ruby Rain was the boss. She owned a room with her mere presence, but she hadn't done the actual work in years. She was tall, in her mid-50s, with long, fiery red hair. Ruby leaned forward, putting her hands together. I need you to take out Dean Larson. He's stopped accepting jobs and has closed off all communications, she shared. Briar sat back in shock. You want me to kill the Phantom? I'm not one to question you, but that feels like a suicide mission, she feigned a tough tone. She laughed in response to Briar's reaction. He's 45 years old. You shouldn't have a problem at all. The hardest part will be finding him, but given your history, I feel you'll find a way, she said condescendingly. Briar knew she was referring to their somewhat romantic past and nodded. I understand my mission. Is there anything else? She pushed a strand of her brown curly hair behind her ear. Nothing I can think of, Ruby replied. Just be sure to keep me in the loop. I would hate to have to send out a second contract hit for this situation. Her voice took on a grave sound. Briar stood, giving a small nod before she left the office. She knew where Dean was because he'd shown her the home he'd go to when he was ready to settle down. He'd wanted her to live there with him. That was when everything had gone wrong. 2 years earlier. Dean, why are we in Alaska? Briar asked, noticing a road sign as she was waking up in the passenger seat of the Hummer. He glanced at her, replying in his gruff voice. I just have something to show you before we get a start on our next job. He reached over and grasped her hand. Something to show me? She asked wearily. You know I don't like surprises. She shook her head before glaring at him in warning. I think you will like this one, he assured her, his confidence causing her to worry. She didn't want to hate whatever he so clearly believed she would love. Briar sat back quietly, not wanting to say anything else. They held hands in silence until Dean pulled into a driveway. The house was way off the road and sat alone in the woods. She looked at him, her heart hoping this wasn't what it appeared to be. What is this, Dean? Come inside before you give me that look, he coaxed, locking eye contact. Briar huffed before she got out of the truck and followed him inside. The outside of the house was beautiful. Even she had to admit that. It had a wraparound porch like she used to dream of, with plenty of land and a garage. The home had the look of a modern-day cabin. Dean opened the door to reveal a large den with a fireplace. He placed his hand on her lower back to guide her through the den into the kitchen, which had a light teal matching the walls of the living area, and white cabinets but modern appliances. Back in the common room there was a spiral staircase leading up to the bedroom. Before the bedroom there was a small living space that looked out over the first floor. Dean guided her to the bed and gestured to the window seat. It's everything you've mentioned in our time together. What do you think? I love the house, she began, but I don't think I'm going to like the idea that goes along with it. Just tell me what's going on, please. She kept her voice soft. He took her hands and looked into her eyes. Briar, we've been together for over a year. I had my reservations about starting a relationship, but you changed those for me. I am ready to quit the assassin life and settle down. With you, because I'm in love with you. He revealed, the most vulnerable she'd ever seen him. You can't just quit our lives, she retorted, her fear causing her to take a defensive approach. The end for us is death. I'm 33 years old. I'm not ready to die yet. I never wanted a serious relationship like this, just what we've been doing. This house is great, and I'm sorry that I can't give you what you're after, but this is not what I want. She wasn't only worried for herself, but Dean too. Their boss would have them killed before she'd allow them to retire. Dean took in her words, choosing to sit silently and think over her response. He'd expected her to react so differently. Finally, he spoke. How could you feel this way? Our entire relationship is because of your persistence. I was against this from the very start, and now that I've opened up and let you in, you're going to reject me out of fear? I'm sorry, she began again, softly. Briar walked out of the bedroom and left the house. She regretted that decision every day. All right, that was chapter 1. It's a lot more action after that. This one's also free right now, the ebook version on Amazon, so go ahead and grab it. And I will see you all again tomorrow night for our next reading. All right? Good night.